You guys ever play a video game before? That's what we're going to do today with Path of Exile. Episode 2, Delirium. We're back and we're playing the witch. We're still alive. I think at the end of the last episode we had DC'd. And I checked shortly thereafter and we were still alive, so good news there. We don't have to re-level from the beginning. Although not a whole lot would have been lost if we had. It's still the same day from the last recording. It's Friday night. It's kind of late. Hopefully the servers aren't going to get bogged down and we're not going to experience a lot of DCing. If we do disconnect quite a bit, we'll just we'll postpone and maybe play something else for at least a couple days until the servers can calm down a bit. This could be a mistake playing this late. I mean, everybody should be on. I was checking the Path of Exile Reddit shortly after the last recording, and the developers were saying there was 500,000 people trying to log on when the patch went live, and I can't remember if they said that was a record number, but it was more than they had anticipated. And so they'd purchased more servers, but not enough apparently. But they're working on fixing it, and they said they can't wait to get it fixed so they can play with everybody else. Let's see, I don't even think we wanted to be on the coast here. I think this was a mistake to load this up. Yeah, we want to travel to Prisoner's Gate. It's times like these, I wish I had a solid state drive I could put games on. Loading from the hard disk, I think, is what we're seeing here. The effects of that. We're going to go to... Where do we want to go to? The Prisoner's Gate? It's up this way. The server seems stable anyway. There's a little bit of choppiness there, but I could be on my end too. We didn't disconnect in the middle of the city. I imagine a lot of players have cleared out of the starting area now too, and they're on separate acts, which probably have different servers. And yes, that probably helped quite a bit, or is helping quite a bit rather. Do we want to go? We might be going the wrong way here. Let's just double check. Make sure we don't want to go south. I think we did though. See, are we still at 3 zombies? Yes. It'd be nice if there was like a little number on the skill that just showed you, or maybe up here that showed you like 3 out of 3. I don't know if that causes too much clutter in the UI. That would actually look bad and be unuseful, or not useful, unuseful. But it would be helpful, I think, if it wasn't too much clutter. Ooh, we found a Delirium portal. Let's try to go for 3 this time. I think 2's our max at the moment. Ooh, large mana flask. Keep going here. Not sure you can tell when the Delirium timer is going to run out. It's not painfully obvious. I know this down here shows the reward, this treasure chest. And there's like a 4-second countdown when you're running low. But I feel like it's going for quite a long time now. And I think as long as you kill enemies, it'll just keep going. And that seems to be the case here. And then every time you complete Delirium encounters 3, paralyzing touch complete. Oh, did we drop out of it? Yeah, we did. I think I got a little distracted there trying to figure out how to tell if your Delirium encounter is still going. The Wakawaria Taua. I'm sure I butchered that name there. We have not experienced that in our previous playthrough, so not quite sure what that is. I get the strange feeling that we're headed in the wrong direction here. We were supposed to go the other way. Well, we'll find out shortly. I don't know if the people that are watching this have seen my previous playthrough of this game. We made it up to almost level 40, I think. And I said it a lot during that playthrough, and I'm going to say it again here. The Raging Spirit spell, Summon Raging Spirit, is a superb skill. Highly recommend it if you're playing as the witch. But my knowledge of witch skills are somewhat limited, so it might not be the best. It feels really good though. I'll say that. The climb. Okay, so we did go the right way. Now we are shortly approaching the end of Act 1, which is good. Means we will have cut down our time to finish Act 1 by like 4 hours, something like that. As long as we don't die here, I think we're doing good. So I question which one's more difficult, Delirium or the Tane events from the Metamorph League. There were some events there that were, the Tane events were quite difficult there. And I'm sure these are going to get really difficult as well, but I feel like we have somewhat, well, we had a lot of control over the Tane events too. We overfed that one Metamorph and got punished for it. Which we could do here too, just going too fast and summoning too many difficult mobs and we just get overrun. We got 5 more seconds there. Maybe as long as you keep moving in the Delirium, you can stay in it. Like as long as we, yeah, it looks like as long as you keep moving, you're okay. Yeah, I think that's the secret here. So it's like the back of the Delirium cloud or the fog of war, whatever you want to call it, catches up with you, and then, well, maybe not actually, because we were still moving there. I'll have to look into that and see how that works. Because currently it's not super obvious. I probably did read it in the patch notes the other day, but I can't remember what it said. Ooh, somebody's level 80 already. Can you believe that? That's impressive. I mean, I'm just thinking about it here. The patch has been out for about 7 hours now, and somebody's already 10 levels away from the max level. So that means it's possible to well, I think 90 is the max level. I'm not quite sure about that either, to be honest. But assuming that it is, somebody managed to almost max level a character in the first day. And to be honest with you, they probably will succeed in doing that. If they've already gotten to 80 at this point. Pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool. Okay, we never did figure out how her events work. We will definitely make a point to do that this playthrough. Valiant Town, okay. Level are we? We're level 12. I mean, instinctively there, I almost wanted to call the person at level 80 a tryhard, but I'm impressed, to to say the least. I can't even say it jokingly. Flask refill when you enter town. We know this. It'd be kind of cool if you could pull up your inventory on the loading screen. That's asking
such a place
asking quite a bit there. I think that'd be cool. You can maybe juggle your inventory while you're loading. Let's see. Trying to remember. I think this area has 3 floors to it, and we are climbing up. If I remember right. Hello, chatters. None of those items look particularly great. Warp boots. Meh. Actually, these warp boots might be okay. This frost damage does that's pretty good damage, to be honest. The frost blink. It's not amazing, but it seems to be able to take care of the fodder, I guess we'll call them. That worked out pretty well. Doesn't quite take the shield of a necromancer down, though. That sounds like a sentence that probably nobody would ever say, but I'm sure it's been said many times. Not enough to take down the shield of a necromancer. Kind of blocking us in there. I don't want to start passing up loot here. We do want to keep moving. I mean, between you and me, and I'm not sure, but if I had to guess how the people are leveling as fast as they are, some of them anyway, it would be they probably had gear sets already farmed up that... Well, I say that they would have to have like gear sets for every 10 levels or something and just shift them out. They're probably just really efficient at the game the more I think about it. That's probably how they did it. Like right now we're currently completely on the wrong side of the map where we need to go. And the people that are level 80 probably don't make those kinds of mistakes at this point in the game. Ooh, Delirium portal. Yes, please. I don't feel like the rewards have been too great for doing the Delirium portals, but it's just, it actually feels really fun to do. There's an Ascendancy trial. We'll do this while we're here. And it feels really... Oof. That's okay. I'm going to take a couple spikes there. It feels good because I feel like it wants you to keep moving as you play. It doesn't reward standing still, which... oh my goodness. We just... we were slain. That mob exploded on top of us and... that one-shot us? Is there a combat log? No. Well, that was short-lived, to say the least. Let's resurrect at checkpoint. Well, we have a choice to make now. We can either... we can either continue playing standard without Delirium, which I don't really want to do between you and I, or I can level off screen and try to get back to where we were. And I think, as much work as it's going to be, I think that's what we're going to do. And we're just going to have to play a little bit more careful there. So I'm going to stop the video now. And when I get back to this level at this place right here, this trial, I will pick up the video from there. Alright, guys. Super unfortunate. Alright, we'll see you then. We're back, guys. Day 2 of Delirium, Path of Exile. You know what it is. As you can tell, I did a little bit of leveling off camera, just to try to keep up. I'm debating on whether or not I'm going to attach the video where I die to this video, and I think I will. It's about 10 minutes into episode 2. We die doing one of the Delirium events. So we have to start over. We had to start over. And we did start over. Upon leveling off camera, I died 4 times doing the Delirium events. So it was a difficult climb to get here. I had to adjust my build quite a bit in order to survive. I'll show you the path that we took instead. So we went up this route first, which has a lot more defensive abilities. Kind of like we did last series. We didn't go this way, although we probably should have, from Deep Wisdom. I think we doubled back and took these points. And then we went up this side, grabbed all these, and then went this way. And we've kind of put some points into offense here. And then we went back this way for more defense. And so when you play Delirium, I highly recommend, especially if you're playing hardcore, pick up some defensive points first. I know that seems obvious maybe to some of you, but yeah, you definitely want to do it, especially if you're going to be going into the Delirium realm, because some of those mobs they don't necessarily one-shot you, but if you're caught in some AoE, it will ruin your day. Needless to say. Let's check out this guy's hat. It's kind of neat. Other piece of advice that I learned that I could hand out to newer players, maybe this is obvious to people that have been playing the game for a while. If you're used to moving around with the left mouse button in games, and a lot of games use this left click to move, don't bind your default attack to left click, because what will happen is you'll get surrounded and you'll try to move with the left click, except there's nowhere to click. And so you'll be attacking monsters, and you'll just stand there, and maybe in the AoE. I died twice doing that until I learned my lesson. So if you're used to moving with left click, make sure that that's move only, right? You don't want to bind any skills to that. Otherwise you'll be stuck standing still and potentially AoE. We picked up some decent gear off screen. Nothing really to sing home about, though. We got some unique items from actually doing decent in the Delirium realm, oddly enough. We got a bunch of, I think these are unique items. Are the orange ones? I don't think we ever discussed what corrupted meant on screen, and I'm not 100% positive about this, but I think corrupted just means you can't level up the quality of the item. You can still wear it, it's still got the stats and abilities, but quality improves the... Let's see if I can find an item in here that has quality already Yeah, so this has 16% quality, which was like that when it dropped, but you can use these types of things. Well, maybe not that. Let's grab these Scrolls of Wisdom. Yeah, okay, so here, armor scrap. Improves the quality of an armor. Couldn't do it here. I'll just show you real quick. Grab this. And we will improve that to 17. And I think that just increases the stats. I think. I could be wrong about that too. So we got pretty far into Act 2. We're actually almost done with it. We'll be able to move on to Act 3. I know it's kind of a bummer I didn't do it on camera, but I want to try to stay up with the rest of the players in the game to some degree, even though we're way behind as is. We're level 24 at the moment. I checked the leaderboard this morning, and there are currently approximately 700 players that are level 100. So level 100, I believe, is the cap. And there's a bunch of people at the cap. And then I think when you reach level 100, the idea of the game is to complete these difficult instances that you can keep doing more difficult ones. I don't think there's any cap on those, so you just the monsters get slightly more difficult. They're like levels, right? Levels for the difficult part, 1 through whatever. But I don't think that's the way that actually works. There's just it gets each of these maps that you put together become more difficult. It's people get it. You guys get it. So that's yeah, that's that. We're way behind a lot of people right now. What's interesting, if you look at the leaderboard, though, even though there's a lot of people that are level 100 at the moment, or hit level 100 and are at the top of the leaderboard, a lot of those players have died. And so it'll show dead next to their name. Meaning they have to restart over on the leaderboard and work their way back up with a different character. And so that's the nature of Path of Exile seasons, I think. Which is, I think, reminiscent of what Diablo did. But if you remember in one of the earlier videos, I mentioned that I didn't really participate in seasons. I was more interested in collecting gear for one particular character, and the leaderboards didn't really interest me, and I never really checked them out, but very similar to that. So you race against other players to be the best, and it is what it is. Which we won't be able to compete with those players, really, and we're not going to try. We'll just play our own game, run our own race, and we'll still try to be efficient. And a small hybrid flask. And yeah, I'll say this: playing off camera, it's a lot easier to move quickly and safely when you're not trying to discuss what you're doing. And that's probably just my YouTube noobness showing, right? I'm not used to playing games and having to talk at the same time. So it's a skill I'm going to have to continue to work on. But I will work on it. Oh, I thought I collected all the beasts in this area. I must not have. Well, we could do this here. I picked up some new weapon abilities this run through. This one in particular is interesting. Animate weapon. You can animate these the white weapons or the common weapons on the ground to fight for you for an extended period of time. And it's actually a pretty interesting ability. And I think one of the cooler ones I've seen so far. And on top of that, it has a support skill that I attached to it that summons these wraiths. So we have all the usual summon abilities that we've had in the previous playthrough, plus 2 additional ones. So I don't want to say we got lucky this time around, but we picked up a lot of interesting spells for a summoner type class. Oh, they're just coming at me in spades here. I think I'll continue to level off screen in between episodes just to get us a little bit farther ahead, or at least back to where we were from the previous playthrough. And if you just wind up watching this playthrough, I think I'll record everything from where we left off in the last season. So if you were to just watch this series front to back, you won't miss any part of the game. I think that's the idea we're going to go for here. And so leveling off screen is going to end shortly here because we weren't that far in the game previously. Wow. I guess a bow is a bow is a bow. Another thing, and I'm not quite doing it right now on camera, but for these weak mobs, it's really good to just blink in here and do some damage. Like, blink is actually pretty strong now with the blink or the damage on the front and the end of the spell. Oh, we finished Einhar's Beast Hunt. No, I could have sworn we did that yesterday. Or I did that last night, rather. Where am I trying to go? North. But for whatever reason, it has reappeared, and I'm wondering if his thing resets, or after you summon a mob in the menagerie down here, a beast, if those reset and you have to go collect a new one to summon. Not quite sure how that works. It's one of those two, though, I believe.
I return to my family.
Maybe I wasn't clear about that. So either it resets daily, or after you summon one at the menagerie, it resets the one that you've summoned. So is this where I came in at? No. Because we didn't clear out this part yet. So this is where we want to go, Chamber Ascends. Now there is a Trial of Ascendancy in here, but I think we're going to hold off on doing the trials till we get to the third act like we did in the previous video, and then just do them all at once. So we don't die, right? We'll have more HP. And I know spike damage or trap damage or arrow damage is based on, it's a good time to do Delirium, is based on like a percentage of your HP. But I'd rather not risk it. We'll just try to get as much HP and shields as possible. I did figure out a little bit more about how the difficulty of the Delirium works. And the further in you go into the fog, the more difficult it becomes. And so if you're kind of just starting out, it's probably best to stay near the entrance to the fog. But if you've progressed quite a bit, you want to just keep going deeper into the fog, and the mobs will get harder. And I think the countdown happens. Do you have Einhar with us? We must do. We don't, though. So if you see, the fog's getting kind of thick right now. I just figured this out this morning, by the way, too. The idea is you want to kind of stay in the fog, which I think we followed the fog there. And as you can see, the longer you stay in the fog, the better items you get. So we've been getting a lot of unique items just from doing the event right now. So it's a really good time to play the game. I'm going to get unique items. And maybe it was like that previous with the Tane event. I just didn't realize how to maximize the return on that. Although we were summoning the most difficult mobs that we could. I think that's the Malachi story there, which we're familiar with. None of those unique items were very good for us, by the way. They were for other classes like Hunter and something else. So it's a bit unfortunate there, but we're not too sad. Not too sad. It seems like the servers have stabilized now. I didn't DC it all last night, and so far everything looks really stable now. So that's a positive. I think on the video I attached this, I said there was 500,000 concurrent players playing on the server at the same time. But I think what I reread the forum post this morning, and it was actually, I think, closer to 2.5. So I was a little off on that, but that's when the server first went live. So there's a lot more people playing the game than they had, I think, initially anticipated. Can I not? I guess we have to go all the way around, which is okay. Yeah, if you don't like the idea of us skipping content on scene, leave a comment, and if not enough people, if enough people want to see us play each episode and not do stuff off camera, we'll record everything, I suppose. It'll just take us a while to get to the end game. At least in the episodes it will. I mean, off camera we'll make... Oh, we have some gray gloves there. Well, you know what? I guess we can't really pick up anything. But I'm more than happy to do that. I've been biter the lumber. I find this act to be pretty safe compared to the early part of the first one. Just because you do get Einhar to follow you around and do damage for you. And he does quite a bit of damage as well, so. He won't be around the whole entire act. If you didn't see Act 2 from the previous playthrough, he just, if there's beasts in the area, he'll show up. I think you might have to actually start attacking one too for him to pop up.
Off you go, little beast. You have been captured.
There's two of them there. Let's go kill these frozen mobs as well. We passed up. I don't know why we passed these up. We walked right into them. I think we did anyway, if I remember right. Yeah. He does a ton of damage. I think that poison Nova on the ground there is him. Let's see, where do we even want to go here? We are trying to... It just says to explore the Chamber of Sin. We need to go south, we've already got. We need to go this way, I think. And so to do that, we need to cut... Yeah, we can't cut across the middle. We have to go all the way down. I think the animate weapon spell is one of the better ones. It seems kind of useless, when, especially when there's no weapons on the ground. But it turns, and I love the idea of it too. It turns the what is potentially trash that you're never going to pick up into something kind of useful, and it gives you a reason not to filter items and just let them all drop on the ground. Oh, there's our final beast there. Let's go kill that. Up this way. We're taking quite a bit of damage there. We don't want to.
That was a hunt you will not soon forget. You're welcome. Goodbye.
I find it amazing that so many players have managed to get to level 100 without dying. I mean, we say a lot, right? What did I say? 700? Somewhere around there. It's not really a lot if you think about it, but it's enough that I find it impressive on the first day. Of which probably 100 of those players are dead. Which makes the game interesting. I think that you got a ton of people that were successful in the race on day one, and then but have already died. You have to start all over again. That style of gameplay never really interested me in the past. I find it significantly more interesting than I used to, though, now. And I think now, not particularly because this game doesn't destroy your character, just puts it in standard league, that I enjoy it more. I like the idea of being less attached to a character and more attached to the game, right? For these types of games, anyway. So that's the other thing. If you're new here, maybe this is the first time you've seen PoE. When your character dies in hardcore, you just get put into standard league, and there really is actually no difference to the game. The only bad part is the Delirium patch. You have to sign up for the Delirium League, right? It's the Delirium League patch. We did say we weren't going to do these trials here. We said we weren't going to, but we're going to take a look. Yeah, this one's not that bad. So you do drop out of the league when you die, which is the bad thing. But the character sticks around, and I guess if you're trying to play the league, which most people are, playing hardcore, it is kind of a bummer when you lose, because then you don't get to play the league. So that's how that works. So if you wanted to play the game and you wanted to experience the Delirium part of the game, and you don't want to have to worry about dying or not, I highly recommend you just play standard. This lightning increases the damage you take by 50% in this game. And so if you stand in lightning too much, it can actually be quite painful. Yeah, so just play the normal game, non-hardcore in Delirium, and you can die as much as you want and be fine. That being said, if it wasn't clear, you play hardcore, you die, the character stays alive, you go to Standard League, and Standard League does not include Delirium. So you no longer have access to Delirium at that point.
Too much clutter.
Which is the real loss. I think for all intensive purposes, the character's kind of dead at that point, at least for the season. Let's try to be a little careful here. Now I gotta assume that this is somewhat scaling here. The mobs in the fog, because we did pretty well in the last Delirium portal we went through. Got two unique items. That was going to be painful. But if you're level, 100, and you go in Delirium portal in here, it's got to be based on the mobs in the area too, right? There's got to be some kind of cap to it. See, I have trouble telling. Do we roll towards the way the fog's rolling? Like, see how it's rolling left to right or north there? You just have to try to stay in the fog, and the fog goes one way or the other. I want to say there's a boss too in the Delirium. None of these items are going to be great anyway. The gem sockets are quite bad on them. I want to say there's a boss in the fog as well. I have yet to see it, but I did read on the Reddit forum someone talking about it, and so I think you can follow the fog and find a boss. I think this is where we get Helena here.
Thing. It's slaughtered everywhere.
Yeah.
Help me.
What thing? Baleful gem we wanted. Turn her into a Zmobi. Don't make this mistake of walking down this pathway here. There's nothing over there. We learned the last playthrough.
Piety was after a creation.
Yeah, we know. We know what she's after. I feel like that's all we had to do in here. Yeah. So we can actually go back to the camp here. Currently just taking the unique items and shoving them in a treasure chest here for future hardcore characters.
If you must.
Herald of Ash grants a buff. Just at a glance, how can you tell if a gem is a support gem? This I haven't figured out yet. Doesn't really show. I thought support gems showed the gems though. See, I don't think these are support gems. Let's see, what slots do we have open? I think this is kind of a trash. Well, stun support. I don't think we're actually getting the benefit from that though. Herald of Thunder. We're not a Thunder Witch, we're an Ice Witch. Desecrates the ground, summoning corpses and dealing chaos damage. That's not bad. Arctic Armor. Conjures an icy barrier that chills enemies when they hit you. You drop chilled ground when moving and take less fire and physical damage while stationary. I wonder how long that lasts for. That seems quite good though. We need 31 dexterity to use it though. Which we have like low to no dexterity. Arcane Cloak. Spends a portion of your mana to grant a buff. Take some damage from hits until it's depleted. Actually, this seems like the one we want here. Until depleted. That sounds nice. So let's take out a spell we're not really using here, like no, we're not really using Fireball, to be honest. So let's put that in, and let's actually put that in our middle click. We've got a ton of spells we actually don't have on our bars here. We could, they're all mapped down here that I actually haven't even looked at, which is kind of strange. There's our Arcane Cloak. We want to assign that there. Let's go ahead and identify all this stuff too. Now I know typically in our other playthroughs we didn't do this stuff on camera, but I think for the sake of trying not to die this run, because we have died 5 times already, or 4, 1 on camera and 3 off, or 4 off camera and 1 on. We've died too many times. I want to try to keep our gear in check here to some degree. Let's see, is this any? Some intelligence would gain. Nah, we lose too much energy shield there. We'll stick with what we got. It's not bad. The gem sockets are kind of bad. The connections are nice though. We won't use that one either. We'll throw that in the bank. Recovers 99 mana. That's awful. Plus 16 to maximum mana charges. 11% reduced mana cost of skills during flask effect. That's not very good. We had some terrible gloves on, but the sockets are too good to get rid of. This weapon might actually be worth equipping here. I mean, we're gonna lose 20% spell damage plus 9. Yeah, nah, we can't do that. I love how the gem sockets are all blue and they're all connected too, which is quite nice. So we won't hang on to any of that, but let's go ahead and throw our unique items in here for other characters.
The spirit is strong in
We've seen that through the last playthrough. Oh, you can buy. Oh, look at this! I never realized there was a second tab with gems on here. Faster casting support. But we're actually gonna have to look at that off camera here. I know we could do it on camera. Probably should too. I'm gonna make the mistake and not do it.
be well.
Could be potentially some good spells in there though that might help keep us alive. Stump off our crafting stuff here. Blast chain mine support. I can't imagine us using that. Let's throw our unused gems in here. Have every gem socketed? We do. Alright, that's pretty good. Pretty good there. Let's clear that. Did we talk to everybody? No, just Helena.
I gave the Ebony Legion my fate.
Yeah.
Would have
Swap hideout.
Hello. Go.
Do we just have the hideout now because we did it in the game already? We might. Let's see, can we just go to the hideout? Yeah, travel to your hideout. Okay, so we already have hideouts unlocked, it looks like.
All right. I've taken the liberty of performing a few tests.
She wants us to craft here. She does. Let's do a maximum life craft here on our. Let's do it on our robe. No, we can't do it on our robe, can we? No. It already has that type of mod. You know what? Let's put some resistances. I'd like to put some lightning resistance on actually. Because lightning tends to really get us good. Let's put it on. Let's already get that type. Maybe. Air offhand. We might have a ton of lightning resist as it is here. Let's put it on the boots. Can't do that. It looks like if you've already got a type of resistance on there. Okay. Don't care for that too much. Oh, it looks like we can put it here. Lightning resistance. Let's do it. Let's see, how much lightning resistance do we have? Oh, I forgot, you do have to pull the gloves out of there. Otherwise it'll just leave them in the crafting bench. How much lightning resistance? 53%. That's pretty good.
Hello.
I could hardly hope for this.
Alright, beautiful. I wonder, does that resist all damage? Like 53% chance to resist everything? It's hard to say.
Keep your life to your own.
It's not clear at this point. An interesting thing I'll mention is when I looked at the leaderboard, I did not check if that was for hardcore characters or all characters. And so I just saw someone hit hit level 91, and they made the point to announce it. So maybe they just announced all levels at that point in the game, or 91 is the highest level in Hardcore League, or maybe 91 is the highest level on this Hardcore server for the what are we on, DC? Yeah, DC realm. Five zombies, okay. Oak, I thought we did Oak already. Something's funny here. Actually, I'm almost positive we did Oak. And are we supposed to follow the way the fog is rolling here? I think we are. We are taking quite a bit of damage from See how the fog's got, it kind of moves in one direction? I just noticed that today. I'm not sure if that's actually what we want to do, but we'll try it here. It does look like it's getting thicker. If we find something particularly nasty, we're just going to run because I'm not trying to die out here. To a fog beast. Let's get some skeletons out there. Actually, you know what? It looks like the fog kind of rolled away from us there. Some nice orbs there. I'm still not exactly like sight. When I see an orb, I don't exactly know what it does. Well, let's use the ice shrine here before we put it in our talent point. So was that exclamation mark with oak on it just a prank? Because I thought we took him out off camera. I'm pretty sure we did actually. I feel safe. And I remember this area being particularly dangerous last time we came through. But we are nearing the end of Act 2, I will say that. I won't spoil anything if this is the first time you're watching. Although we won't read the story points. But I think this is where we unleash the line, if you will. We get blamed for some stuff here that I don't think is necessarily our character's fault. Let's kill these mobs and then put our skill point in. We were going Lightning Walker. Well, I gotta pick up strength if I do that. I don't really want to pick up strength. I think we're gonna do it anyway. Because those talents are so good. We get some benefit from strength. We get life and physical damage, which is okay. But as you saw, you need some secondary stats to equip gems and some gear too. It's not strictly a bad stat to pick up. It's also not a very good one either, but summon some weapons here. No, I think we've disconnected. Potentially. No, we're good. I know summon weapons supposed to work on melee weapons that drop on the ground, but sometimes that doesn't work. Looks like we hit the Delirium portal from that side. I haven't been summoning many skeletons so far in this recording, which kind of a shame because the skeletons are actually really good. And the nice thing about the skeletons too is if you want to put some distance between you and your enemy, and the zombies aren't going where you want them to go, you can just plop the skeletons right in front of the attacking enemy. I'll show you here. So you're ahead of the zombies right now. And well, the zombies did the right thing there. you can summon the skeletons where you want. We should definitely be using that skill quite a bit more than we have been. Superior Grand Mana Flask. I think we want to drop Mana Flask here at some point. Because as you can see from our mana bar, if you've been watching it at all, we don't use any mana at this point. Like, actually none. Ben's shooting poison darts at us. Silver coin. Oh, another thing too. If you watched the last series, we could not figure out what the silver coins did. How they work is you unlock a seal, and then you pay to get the prophecy. Not that seal, a different seal. You pay for a prophecy, and then those prophecies appear in the game, and they're just events with like different mobs, and you get a bunch of cool stuff for doing it. And they're purple, and it's cool. It's a cool thing. If we get enough of the silver coins this recording, which we may have enough, although we're nearing the end of the recording here, I'll be sure to get it on camera here soon in order to share that part of the game with you guys. It looks like you can report bugs by doing /bug. It's kind of neat. So you can see after we broke that seal, everything's gone dark here. And the villagers try to blame it on us, which, yeah, I guess... I don't know why in the last playthrough I thought it wasn't our fault there, but yeah, that was definitely our fault. So, yeah, this player has died at level 86 at position 27 on the ladder. So the leaderboard I must have looked at today must have not have counted hardcore characters. But, you know, the more I think about it, it had that some of those characters had died. Which either means deaths count against your position in the leaderboard. So if there's 5 of you on the leaderboard, you get like minus points for having died. Or it was a leaderboard with both standard players and hardcore players, which is very possible. That's probably what it was. Are we missing zombies? Where did our zombies go? Why are we taking so much damage? Still 5. Travel to the forest encampment. Travel to the crypts. Where are we trying to go here? North and south? Frostblink is really good for taking out these smaller mobs. You can see the cooldown on it's real short too, so it's almost like you have to not necessarily spam it, but I think this is the correct way to play it. Like, especially with these kind of mobs, you blink in, do a little bit of damage, you blink out. I think they wanted to make it a more used skill, so you would kind of be blinking all the time. As you can see, it acts as CC too if it freezes the enemy. It doesn't always freeze the enemy, but it is quite often, especially with these weaker mobs. I mean, it's just free CC, free damage, free repositioning.
Life is short. Deal with it.
Should definitely be using it a lot more than I am. But I find this difficulty in using skeletons using Blink. Raging Spirit is just, I feel like it's glued to my finger. Like I can't stop pressing that button. And maybe that's, maybe we shouldn't be using Raging Spirit so much and more Blinks and Skeletons, but I don't think did we want to be in here? We did not want to be in here, it looks like. This is where we do something stupid and die in a Delirium here. It looks to me like the fog is traversing north. Or no. It looks like the fog shifts, so maybe following the fog isn't the right thing to do. To be honest with you, I'm not really sure how you stay ahead of the fog. Taking a little bit of damage there. It could be all about just continuing on in the map, like you just keep progressing. But I don't know in an open area how you decide what is progressing. Maybe it's from the position that you went into the portal at? So you're about to get kicked out right now. Oh, this guy's kind of big. Turquoise amulets. We'll take it. Let's go ahead and level up while we're thinking about it here. We're going to pick up the strength. Because that's the only way we can get in here for this minion points. We did it. We're not happy about it, but we did it. I don't know if the other classes get summons or not. No idea. The tough part about the Delirium realm is you can't summon zombies. Like, and the zombies will die, and as you can see we only had 3 there, so 2 died in the Delirium realm. Quartz wand. Something else I was reading on Reddit too is in the Delirium realm, life leech doesn't work. So players that are playing melee classes are having a difficult time, I think. Well, the ones that went with a life leech build, right? Maybe if they went with something.
Too much clutter.
Oh, we had some trash in here. Something a little bit more. Drop that iron staff. Something different. I don't know what that is, but they wouldn't be having as much problems. But I think life leech is not as good this season due to how the Delirium realm works, and subsequently the witch might not be as good. But I think the zombies and the skeletons get significantly more tanky in the later game, especially if you build your tree right. I think whatever that is. I mean, I don't know if we're doing that, but there are ways to make your creatures tougher in the tree that I've noticed. I don't remember going down here. I must have, though. First time I played through here. I'm starting to get kind of worried about the third boss in, or the Act 3's boss. Because even when we started to stabilize in our previous playthrough, after we got demoted to Standard League, but it's like the situation we're in now, we haven't been too pressed to die, except for maybe once or twice. The Act 3 boss still got us. We're going to need to be real careful when we get to that point in the game. Which makes sense. The bosses are particularly dangerous. What are we trying to do in here? I don't even know. Is there a quest in here? I'm not too sure, to be honest. This might be where the final boss to the act is. And we might not even be able to do it at this point. I can't tell because our character is directly in the room if we have a quest here or not. I don't think we do. So actually, we might want to roll out of here. In fact, let's do it before we explore too much here. Because we got the waypoint there. We can just pop in there if we do have to come back in. Yeah, everybody's upset with me here. Let's... Lightning Strike, huh? I don't think we're going to use any of these items. They don't look particularly great. That one's okay. The sockets on that are just terrible. It's probably a good time to point out that I think you can re-roll sockets on items and pick up additional ones. There's an item that's really good for you. You could spend re-rolls in quotes to get better sockets on it. That's a 710 flask. We are going to use that. Let's
Hello?
spooky music here. Dexterity amulet, 8 int. Actually, ours is really good. Create all attributes, 3% spell damage. We'll stick with ours. Drop in these crafting reagents. Lightning Strike, Blood Rage, Muttering Essence of Fear.
I greet you.
Let's sell. I'll sell you this here.
Be kind if you can.
Let's clear out all these quest stuff.
For all of her strange ways.
Yeah, everybody's just telling me I screwed up here.
What has happened?
Yep.
There's one bright spot in this darkness, Yvonne.
Let me tell your future.
I'm not sure how many of these silver coins we have. We'll do one here and see if we can afford one. Now, so we need 3. So you unlock the seal. That opens up one of these, and you select a fortune, and then those fortunes appear out in the world. You will use an orb of transmutation on a ring or amulet, and it will gain a life mod. So that's that, right? If we had 3 more silver coins. So that's not quite an event, the type of event I was talking about, but so they're just different events. And that one seems to be different than the ones I've done so far. I think we want to go this way. Not think, I know. Oh, there was a quest up here to do. Solve all the okay, no. I'd say we want to go there. We'll go this way and try to go through the question mark area. Although none of our quests show us going that way. This must be the Val runes. This must be for the an optional quest. This is the wrong way though. Finding the entrance we want to go into is the difficult part here. This video is going to run, I think, a little bit longer since we're hitting that hour mark right now, and we just left town. How much longer? I'm not sure, but a little bit longer than an hour. You know, I said you couldn't summon zombies in here. You can, just not off the Delirium mobs, right? The Dread Thicket, that might be where we want to go, actually, for the optional quest. That thing's trying to explode on us here. So something like that killed us in the first playthrough. It was like an explosion mob. So we're walking in the fog here, and I notice if you've already explored that area in the map, there's no mobs there. And so maybe the fog stays thickest if it's an area that you haven't been to yet. We're a little slowed here. Ooh, that scared me actually. Still not 100% sure how the fog works. Sunblock recovery, $23 attributes. That seems really good. Better items, fire resist. Yeah, we're gonna equip that. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Let's go back to the Dread Thicket here and see if that's where we wanted to go. Down this way, I believe. The Dread Thicket. I feel like we went in here too, though. But this is where we want to go. For the, I believe this is the optional quest. Let's do this quest and then we'll call the episode here. Can't remember why we have to go in here though. Let's get some zombies up. I just want to point out that I think a lot of difficulty in this game comes from figuring out your talent build. Oh, I'm frozen. I was a little scared there. I lost control of my character. Is figuring out what is the best talent build. And that changes every season, I think. But the game becomes significantly more difficult if your build is terrible. As I figured out the first 4 times I died this season. And so every wrong choice, I think, just increases the probability that you're going to die. There was somebody complaining about they were playing standard mode, but they couldn't do the Delirium realms at all level 80. Which is, you know, not quite where we're at. Obviously, we're only 30. No, we're 27 right now. But they didn't have the HP to make it through to survive the mobs. So the advice people were giving them was to just stay at the edges of the fog until you got significantly more HP. We're in a spooky world there. I don't know if we want to go that deep. In fact, some skeletons up to put some So that got a little hairy there. And this was a seasoned player that had been playing the game for 5 years, he said. Was just unsure what to do. So he just didn't quite have the gear or the correct build to deal with the Delirium. So your talent choices and your gear becomes super important. And I think we were making some rookie mistakes there last episode. Let's see. I was going to put in a skill point. I was like, what was I? Minion damage, we'll take it. See, I feel like in hardcore you have to balance between damage and HP. And it seems to actually be pretty well tuned at this point. At the end of Act 1 when I was fighting the last boss, since I had been stacking defense the whole time, or I had stacked a lot of defense rather, the first boss of Act 1, or the last boss of Act 1, it seems to be 2 bosses per act, was quite difficult. Took quite a bit of time to kill, and as a result, there was not necessarily an enrage mechanic, but kind of an enrage mechanic. It was difficult to deal with, and I almost died from being overwhelmed. So there's a fine balance there you gotta find. And maybe my gear wasn't quite so great either. Lush hideout, is this where we wanted to go? I feel like yes, but... I'm not even sure what's going on anymore. Lush hideout. This is this area here, which is where we wanted to be. I'm not sure where we're at anymore, to be honest, guys. It was weird, we were on the same spot in the map, now we're outside, but we're on the same spot in the map. Oh, this is, yeah, this is the hideout, actually. Which, I don't think we necessarily have to do. Because we've already unlocked it. So this is where Helena would send you to go unlock the hideout that we're, this thing here. If I'm not being clear. Oops. This here. That's the same spot. They are one and the same. So that actually is... what's interesting here is, that shows up as a quest on the map. Yeah. I'm not sure. Let's portal out of here. Did that remove the quests? Not that it really matters, but I'm a bit of a, yeah, it did. Okay. That's gonna end it here for this episode, guys. I'm gonna continue to play off camera and try to get us caught up to the end of Act 3, and then we'll start recording everything on camera. Unless people want me to continue the way that I'm doing it now, leave a comment and let me know. As usual, if you liked the video, drop it a like. If you disliked it, drop it a dislike. Subscribe to the Unusual Maw for more content. We'll see you in the next episode of Delirium. Take care, guys.